41,000 other drag racing fans for the Budweiser Springnationals. We're ready for the semi-final round in Top Fuel. And Darrell Gwynn rolls out to face Dick LaHaye. Now remember, Gwynn got here as a result of facing Shirley Muldowney. And so Gwynn is ready to roll as he begins the process toward this run. The first burnout as Gwynn prepares that machine. His competitor is Dick LaHaye. LaHaye, the fastest qualifier in this Top Fuel field with a 5.40. There have been 4 winners in NHRA drag racing this season, and 2 of them are on the line right now. Earlier, Steve Evans took a look at this magnificent machine.
A Top Fuel dragster is a lot more than just an engine and 4 wheels. The chassis can be an important part of its performance. Dick and Kim LaHaye and their crew have been nice enough to strip the magnesium body off of their car so that we can take a close-up look. Now, this is the lightest car in Top Fuel at 1,820 pounds with Dick on board. It was built by Dave Uehara in Northern California. Now, up front, you'll find a lot of the dragsters use just a straight axle welded right to the chassis. Well, Dick likes to use an A-arm style suspension. He feels he's got better control of the car when it's out of shape. Now, all of the tubing in the car is what they call chrome moly, and there's 4 different thicknesses involved. Were you to stretch this tubing end to end, it would be the length of a football field. And here's something that's kind of interesting. The shaft that goes down to the rack and pinion steering runs directly through the center of the 14-gallon fuel tank. Now, they were having problems with their earlier car braking under acceleration right here where this crosspiece is. Well, now the crosspiece is not welded. It is slip jointed so that the tubes can flex and twist within these particular joints. Now, you will not find any diagonal pieces in the chassis whatsoever until you get back to the cockpit area, and that's required by NHRA for safety. Now, if you watch this car closely, when it leaves the starting line, you'll see that it bows just about here at Dick's feet, actually raises up as much as 5 inches. That allows for weight transfer, for better traction, and also allows the front wheels to stay closer to the pavement so that Dick can steer the car. Now, every nut and bolt on this machine is either magnesium or titanium, and you would think that a throbbing 3,000 horsepower engine would be bolted securely into the car, right? Wrong. It actually just rests on the frame rails. It's held in place only by clamps like you might find on a radiator hose, except for back here. You'll find a couple of very sturdy braces, and this keeps the engine from sliding forward when the parachute is deployed or sliding back when Dick leaves the starting line.
They appear so simple, but obviously so very complex. The Top Fuel dragster.
And Paul, Dick LaHaye runs a much smaller engine, only about 480 cubic inches as compared to 500 for this car, Darrell Gwynn. Now here on this track, as we've seen, power may not be the answer. In fact, if you were down on power and had the clutch set just right and unleashed the power correctly, you might have a better chance. So let's watch. They're off the line right together, and Darrell Gwynn, as so many have in this near lane, smokes the tires. Dick LaHaye astounds even his own crew. Another new track record, 5.37 seconds, 260 miles per hour. Incredible in this heat and humidity.
So Dick LaHaye moves ahead with his 5:37, and that will bring up the second matchup in the semifinals. Joe Amato will face Gary Ormsby. So Gary Ormsby is ready. And back at the line, here's the 1984 world champion, Joe Amato. And while they back up, let's go to the far end and Steve.
Well, the Glidden boys aren't the only family that can high-five on the starting line. Your son and your daughter just did that when they saw a new record on the scoreboard.
Again?
Again.
What did they run?
37.
Oh, my God. Thank the Lord. I'll tell you what. What a summer. I mean, what a whole year.
So Dick LaHaye is into the final round, and now we wait to see whether or not Joe Amato or Gary Ormsby will move to the finals. Amato sits ready. Ormsby in the far lane.
Amato has been in every final round this year. Even though there's been no repeat champions, he leads the points for that very reason. So Dick LaHaye, nothing personal, hopes that Gary Ormsby puts away Joe Amato right now. That would help him, and that may happen. Joe Amato in this unpredictable near lane, and now there's a fire to boot. So apparently the motor overwound and all of that freewheeling, and Joe Amato is on the trailer. Gary Ormsby, 562 at 52 miles per hour, will go to the final round.
Amato read the tree just a little bit better, but then the tires went up in smoke, followed by a billow of flame. Now we look at it one more time. Watch at the back of Amato's car. What's happened there is oil has misted into the air, and when that occurs, it becomes very volatile, apparently leaking out through the valve cover. It lights up, but it's not an explosion. He gives a hug to his wife, Jerry, and Joe Amato walks away, the first time that he's not moved to the finals.
No, Gary, I'm not bragging, but I told our fans at home earlier they better look out for Gary Ormsby, Dick LaHaye, and Joe Amato. A nice one into the final round.
Oh, I love it. It's been a long time, Steve. We're really pleased. I think it smoked the tires a little bit there, but if we got here first, that's what counts.
Well, it smoked the tires enough to slow you down to about a 560.
Yeah, I knew it was loose for quite a while there. And
Joe was having a regular bonfire alongside you.
yeah, I knew he dropped off. I didn't see him after it. I was having a little trouble myself with the tires, but I never saw him after that. I figured something happened.
Do you dare change anything to this car? Maybe hope the track gets a little better, it cools off?
Well, we actually changed it a little bit thin, and I think that's why it blew the tires off.
Go back to what you had?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Should be a great final.
And it's obvious that they're still having trouble determining which lane will be right and how to set up for it. The final round in Top Fuel, Gary Ormsby will face Dick LaHaye, and LaHaye will have lane choice. But coming up, the funny cars back in Billy Meyer's.
Columbus, Ohio is the old Ohio State Arsenal. But even in its finest day, I doubt that brick building housed more firepower than we're seeing today at National Trail Raceway. Now here, getting ready for the final in Top Fuel, Gary Ormsby's crew. The wing is coming off the car, apparently so that they can get to the rear end, Paul Page. That could be a story. We'll check on that a little bit later. Right now, it's time for the semifinals of Funny Car. And in some ways, an unlikely pair. We've already told you the story of D.A. Santucci, match racer turned big-time pro here today. And in the near lane, Jim Head from the local area, who admitted himself that he has been struggling all along and has had a lot of luck riding with him.
Really a Cinderella story on the line here now. Local driver Jim Head, D.A. Santucci, who has never been this far in funny car eliminations. Santucci brings the machine up to the line ever so carefully. He knows a great reputation lies at stake here. In the near lane, Jim Head, earlier Steve Evans pointed out all those timers on board to give him what he hopes will be an extra advantage.
Jim Head inside the car, rattling around in that steel cocoon of a roll cage, fiberglass body atop a tube chassis. They leave right together. D.A. Santucci and Jim Head. What a drag race. That's Head in the near lane, Santucci's far lane. And the win light, it is for Jim Head. 584, 246 miles per hour. And Paul Page, that was definitely worth another look.
But Steve, some concern back at the starting line, a red light burns. And the question is, was there truly a red light? Now, it appeared to me that there was a flash of green in Santucci's lane before the red. Going to the finish line, it was still Santucci, but then Head came on strong and got him with inches to spare. Head with a 584 as the win.
You didn't lose it all today. You proved to everyone you're a winner.
It was successful. It was a wonderful outing, and this is just great. Especially here to talk to you. We always see it on TV, so now it's my turn.
Come back and see us, will you?
You got it, Steve.
Okay. D.A. Santucci, what a thrill his whole crew got this weekend.
The equipment has been checked. It was not a foul. That red light was displayed accidentally. So Jim Head, the winner of that run. And now, Don Prudhomme will face this man, Billy Meyer.
Billy Meyer went through a terrible siege of exploding superchargers. Very dangerous and very expensive. But Meyer has his own racetrack down in Texas Motorplex. He's been testing a lot and has cured that problem, he hopes. And Don Prudhomme has had a couple of those supercharger explosions also. But the Snake running good this weekend, and he has one victory to his credit this year. That was the Gator Nationals when he beat Kenny Bernstein, who almost got into the wall. But there is Billy Meyer taking one final tug on those shoulder belts, Paul. Everybody wants to be strapped in, even if it's a little painful.
Don Prudhomme, the near lane, remember he got here when Kenny Bernstein's machine failed on the line. In the far lane, that is Billy Meyer. Both long-time veteran drag racers, both really know the track, and it's going to take that knowledge to win here today at National Trail Raceway. This track has been very unpredictable.
But these are two pure drivers. Billy Meyer may be the very best in funny car racing at pedaling the car. In other words, just feeling those rear tires, getting off the throttle, applying only as much power as the track will take. Let's see. They're off together. Don Prudhomme is snake bit in the near lane, but Prudhomme smokes the tires like days of old. Billy Meyer, however, takes the win at 581, 249 miles per hour, and will make his first final round appearance in a long, long time.
The Snake tried to get the power under him, actually tried it twice, couldn't get it done. Billy Meyer takes the win. He will have the lane choice in the final round over Jim Head. And coming up next,
It's the Budweiser Springnationals drag races. I'm Steve Evans along with Paul Page, and we're about to determine the finalist in Pro Stock Eliminator. We've already done that in Top Fuel and Funny Car. Now it's the Pro Stock's turn, and here is Butch Leal. Can he make it 2 in a row, Paul, in front of his hometown fans?
It would be a tremendous victory if he can get that done. Butch Leal in the near lane. He faces Jerry Ekman.
Ekman and his car owner Bill Orndorff from Ventura, California, have gone into a very serious engine development program, and it has already paid dividends. They're running about 12 hundredths of a second quicker than they did last season. And Pro Stock guys, they'd pay $50,000 for 12 hundredths. That's the difference between winning and losing. Now let's see, Paul, what happens on the starting line. Jerry Ekman is just about as good as Butch Leal as far as striking off that line.
Two drivers very closely paired. Both of them roll up now. Leal in the near lane, Ekman over in the far lane. There you watch as Ekman inches up into the staging lights now. He's prepared to go. Butch Leal, he's ready as well. This is the semifinal round of Pro Stock.
And it's an all General Motors affair. Trans Am in the near lane. Far lane, it's a Chevrolet Camaro for Ekman. They lead right together. Jerry Ekman matches Butch Leal's reaction time, and that's something not many can do. At the finish line, it is Butch Leal by about half a fender. For the second year in a row, Butch Leal will go into the final round at 7:59, 183 miles per hour to Jerry Ekman 765.
Back at the starting line, in fact, Ekman cut a better light than Butch Leal. In fact, Ekman at 8 thousandths of a second faster. But then Leal coming to the finish line, Ford on the high speed, had the car better balanced, and came home the winner with a 7:59, 183.
For the second year in a row. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Butch Leal goes into the final round. And Butch, I noticed you don't even have a tachometer in this car.
Well, Steve, I've been racing since 1960 and never had one. And at times, people at companies that we race for with an autometer, which is our company, said, why don't we just put something in there? And I said, you know, if you pick it up and it falls, it's going to hit me. In a race car, it weighs 5 pounds. So I don't run one, and I like to feel it. If you can feel it, I think, like golf, if you can feel the putt, you got to feel the car, you feel the motor. I think it's an advantage. Like today, I've ran 3 59s in a row.
You just ran another one. How would you relate that to golf?
Well, it's the same. It's just like you got a good putting stroke and they're going to fall in, you know. So it's like watching Steve Ballesteros make putts, you know. It's excellent.
Well, you just sunk this one. Dead solid perfect. Butch Leal, final round.
Butch Leal has that feeling as he readies himself now for the final round, which will be against the outcome of this match between Bob Glidden in the near lane and Bruce Allen.
Ford versus Chevrolet. The leading Chevrolet in the country, Bruce Allen, and the top Ford on this planet, Bob Glidden, the 7-time NHRA world champion. Now, Butch Leal, he's down there saying, please, Bruce, would you put away that Thunderbird? Because Bob Glidden is just behind Butch in the points. Now, Butch has that points lead mainly because he's made every final round. Hasn't won them all, but he's been in the finals 4 times this season in 4 races.
The Ford of Bob Glidden from Whiteland, Indiana. This man has given many a pro stocker nightmares. 7 times the world champion. He is ready now in the semifinal pairing to face Bruce Allen. Can Allen do it? Can he get past Bob Glidden, who wins so consistently?
All right, the delicate staging process begins. Sometimes they'll play a little psychological game here. They'll put on that top free stage and both just sit there for a while, feeling each other out. That's starting to go on right now here. The starter doesn't seem concerned at all, but they're taking a long time to stage. And let's see who is going to break first and move up into that final beam on the starting line. It is Bob Glidden finally moving in. Bruce Allen won the war of nerves right there, and he's still letting Glidden sit a bit. The tree, and it is Glidden away first. Glidden did not succumb to that starting line battle at all. Bob Glidden, he defeats Bruce Allen with daylight. And the Glidden sons enjoying this one. We will have an incredible final round. Bob Glidden and Butch Leal. They have been bashing on each other all year long.
Tough to play the psych game with a long-time veteran like Bob Glidden. So Bob Glidden will face